Hey, good morning from the QBS side. My name is Michael Hartmann from the QBS group, and I have the pleasure to introduce Wouter van Grootheest from our TIC team from the IT channel company, the mother company of QBS. Wouter, you're the CFO, and in these times, I guess for a CFO, these are not only stressful times, but also times where we need to reflect on a lot of or consider a lot of things in our business. And I think we're not different than our partners in that respect. And so I wonder, despite of all the restrictions we have seen across Europe and people be forced to work from home, what do you see as the key challenges these days for a CFO?
Yeah, Michael, I think the biggest thing is uncertainty where we have to deal with. Certainty about our revenues, our cash flows, and last but not least, how long this is going to take, which means that we have to prepare a lot of detailed scenario analysis for our P&Ls, but mainly for our cash flow. If you take a look, companies don't fail because they don't have profits, but they lack cash. And especially in the current, let's say, changing environment, which is changing every day, we need to be operational on top of everything on a daily basis. It's pretty hard to forecast at the moment, but we are even thinking about rebudgeting the whole year, since this is going to take longer than just a couple of months.
Yeah. And you talked about the cash situation, and of course, we had that dialogue with many of our partners, and then we have heard some partners already asking, well, QBS, is there a way for you to help us out by just extending your payment terms, right? And that is a let's say a two-sided sword. Not only that it's not easy for us because we are not a bank, so to speak, but there's also considerations on the partner side if you really want to do that. And you and I, we had that dialogue, and I found it quite educational for me as well to get your perspective on that. So that would be good to also understand a bit how you reflect on these payment terms.
Yeah, like you said, it really depends. In our economy, everybody is connected to each other. So we are depending on our partners are depending on their customers. And the thing is that if only one of those parties is going to, let's say, extend his payment terms or giving a longer period to pay, that somebody will pay that bill. And that means that party needs to have the cash. And like you said, we are not a bank, but also our partners are not a bank. So if our partners are giving to their customers an additional 30 days, that means that they have to pay their bills without getting any cash in. So I think the biggest fear in the economy is the fact that we have a cash standstill. So everybody's going to sit on his own cash. But the best thing what could happen in my view is that we keep on doing what we were used to do, although, okay, we might have some challenges, but paying each other keeps the, let's say, the economy and the whole chain going and alive. And that's the reason why you don't see, in my view, up till now, any big, let's say, announcements of extending payment terms from the corporates.
And I think it's, as you mentioned that, you also mentioned to me the other day that it's also a tricky thing if you then look at you extend the payment term, and what it means at some point in time you need to go back to normal payment terms, and then you have like a double whammy, right? Because you then all of a sudden have
what you see at the moment, the biggest risk is that we are piling things. So first of all, we extend our payment terms for the next 2-3 months. Suppose we do that, or you can do that as a partner. And on top of that, you have the government measures where you can also extend your tax payments or defer them till just after summer. But that means that in the month of September, for example, you need to have, let's say, a huge pile of cash because you have to do your normal payments, but also the ones of the months before. So when we do our scenario analysis, we see that the biggest challenge is not on the short term, but more on the midterm, because those payments also kick in. Just after summer, which is not for everybody, let's say, the easiest period from a cash perspective.
Okay. I mean, as we go through the crisis, and I was wondering, are there any recommendations that you would give to our partners, either based on our own experience and what we do, but or then based on the other thing?
Yeah, cash is king in these days. So what we did is, as of day one, is that we are on top of our cash position. So the finance team is a kind of re-geared towards cash. Every morning they start with checking all the cash in, all the cash out on every bank account, do all the reporting on it, and also update our cash flow forecast for the rest of the year. Because based on that, we can do scenario analysis and see, okay, when do we have difficult times, or when do we face difficult times? So first of all, on top of the cash, secondly, build scenarios, also a worst case one, and make sure that you already think not only on the short term, but also on the medium and the longer term, because this crisis will not have an effect in just the next 2 months. It will also have an effect on the rest of the year. And there can be periods in the year where you have a challenge from a cash perspective. And I think it's good to think already about those challenges and think about, okay, suppose that price affects your company, then it's now the time to think about alternatives, etc. Because 5 minutes for 12 will probably be too late.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. So thanks for those advice, and thanks for the insight. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna hear you back at some point when we are getting throughout the crisis. Thanks for now, Wouter, and hope you found some insightful information with this interview. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.